Hey guys, Sleepy Reader here. It's been a long day. This is actually iced tea. But I did manage to make it to my comic book shop, and I thought I'd show you what I got. And maybe if it's not too noisy out here, I might talk about some of the comic books I read this week. For starters, as you might remember, I decided to start getting previews, and it feels like it was only 3 weeks ago that I got my first previews, but here's another one already. I did have fun going through previews, and I was going to make a video of it, as some people asked me to, but I just didn't end up having the time. And I did find a few comics that I ordered from my shop because of previews that I might not have discovered before. Now I can't think off the top of my head what they were, except for some obscure comic book company is reviving the Harvey characters like Little Dot and Richie Rich, and you might remember that I was quite into those for a while, and I'm still quite into them, but I just haven't talked about them on video lately. Also got Image Plus, cool cover, Angelic, Your Guide to the Eisner Awards. I wonder if they'll mention things that weren't from Image that were in the Eisner Awards. It'd be great if Image Plus covered independent comics in general. But anyway, always a lot of fun reading this Image Plus. So, I picked up these two All-Star Batmans. I don't think either of them came out today, but I saw that I have been less and less a fan of Snyder's writing on Batman, but I saw that the art was by Albuquerque, and I decided I wanted that. It's part 1 and part 2 of The First Ally, which I assume is about good old Alfred. And I don't know yet if this is complete in these 2 issues or multiple issues. I do love the thicker covers, the nicer covers. So anyway, but I did, as a rule, I dropped All-Star Batman a long time ago, but I keep picking up occasional copy issues if the artist is the right person. And well, it doesn't really matter because I've already damaged the cover, but this I'm going to read with my daughter, which means it's going to get all beat up anyway. I Am Groot number 2. I liked aspects of I Am Groot number 1. My daughter said she liked it, and I picked it up to read with her, so I thought we'll keep reading it for now, but I'm not going to put it on my pull list because the moment I put it on my pull list, my daughter will lose interest in it, and I'll be getting issues that I don't really want to read if I'm not going to read them with her. It has cool but kind of busy artwork, as you can tell from the cover, and the hints at what the plot might be seemed rather, I don't know what's the right word, grotesque and silly. I don't know. We'll see how this issue 2 is and whether my daughter wants to keep reading it. And we can always switch over to just waiting and reading it on Marvel Unlimited, which is where we read a lot of comics. We read some delightful, like 3 issues of recent Squirrel Girl on it just last night. Okay, and these are the actual pull comics. Batman Elmer Fudd. Oh, crap. Pardon me. This is not the main cover. Now this shop has started doing this to me. I used to get pissed. My old shop would slip me the variant covers, but after a while I got good at, or sometimes remembered to check and substitute them. But I don't like this cover at all. Yuck. Oh well. This is written by Tom King. That'll be interesting to see Tom King's take on Elmer Fudd. Yosemite, Jonah Hex and Yosemite Sam. I think this is the main cover. Yes, it is. I'm reading that code. The 111 tells me it's the first print, the first issue, and cover A. This may or may not be fun. Somehow it seems fun just to get a little more Jonah Hex, however it turns out. The art looks pretty good. I'm part of the way through reading I haven't read many of these. I've been building up these Looney Tunes DC crossovers. I haven't read many of them. I'm part of the way through the Lobo Coyote one, and or Lobo Roadrunner run. I've been enjoying that. The Forevers, I thought I'd drop this from my pull. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to check my emails to my shop. I either dropped this or I dropped No Angels. So things are getting a little sloppy at my shop. But you know, I think both of these may be ending soon. So I'm not totally averse to reading them. Extra-sized anniversary issue of Wonder Woman. This, I mean, I'm fine with paying an extra $1 every now and then and getting a longer story, but there was just a Wonder Woman annual, and now there's a whoop-de-doo, we've done a year's worth of Wonder Woman, let's do a double size or an extended size issue. But I think I've already heard good things about this issue, so I am still behind on my Wonder Woman reading. I am not behind on my detective reading. I would have liked this to be oversized, but this is not. Although it must be the 25th issue or so of its rebirth incarnation. But it doesn't say issue 25, so I guess they have to have that 25 to make it the 25th anniversary. Last issue of Detective I liked a lot. You may have seen me talking about it. Oh, they've been really pushing Aquaman. They want people to pick up on it with issue 25. And I'm kind of excited to see what it's like. I've been liking Aquaman all along, but my shop got shorted that, and supposedly I will get that issue next week. It came out last week. XMen. Loved the first 3 issues of this. I think, is it 9 issues or 12 issues of XO? And I think every 3 issues he's like, I think the first 3 issues may have been warrior or something. Now it's general, so he's going to become a general in this alien army. He hasn't in the comic been wearing his outfit, so I don't know if now he will, or he'll continue just to have a little ring. It's a different artist, which I'm a little trepidatious about because I love the art so much. I don't want it to change. It looks okay. I'm sure it'll be good. And also, this is with those sweet hardcovers, and they give you a lot of pages in XMen. Oh, and talk about a good deal in terms of pages. Here's Supergirl Being Super, book 4, which I believe is 48 or 52 pages of story with no ads. And it is more expensive, but it's square bound and everything. So I'm looking to this conclusion of this series, which I've been enjoying more for the art than the story. As I think I've said elsewhere, I think the story is fine, but it's just not really, it doesn't get to me. I like it okay, but I can see that other people might really dig it. Feels like Saga just came out 2 weeks ago or something. My sense of time is really shot right now. But happy to have another issue of Saga. This is a pretty cool cover. Father-daughter, I can relate to that. Of course, my daughter doesn't have as many wings. Okay, Kamandi challenge. This feels thin. Maybe because all those other ones were thick. But it is a $3.99 book. I've been having fun with this series, even though only some issues have been any good. The last issue had amazing art and a story that was really just wandering from place to place, throwing in some interesting ideas and then dropping them, and then ending with, I don't want to give it away to people who haven't read it, but with a really outrageous cliffhanger out of which there seemed to be no possible solution. And now Steve Orlando, one of my least favorite DC writers, is going to have to solve that problem. So I don't have high hopes for this issue. It's, is it Philip Tan art, who is an artist that sometimes I've liked and sometimes I haven't. Philip Tan with Norm Rapmund as the inker. I don't associate Norm Rapmund with comics I like. He seems like a very 90s style inker, but we'll see. Action Comics, I've kind of had less patience with this book lately, but last issue picked up a bit, so I'm sticking with it for now. Oh, and then finally here's the Marvel previews. They keep making a big deal about how they're giving me the Marvel previews for free because I ordered previews, but I think that that's just how you always get it, right? Wait, if you pay for previews, you get the Marvel. In fact, it says right here, or free with the purchase of Diamond Previews. So, yeah, the BS quotient at my shop is rising a little bit, I think. I still like them a lot more than most of the other shops I've dealt with. Let's hope that continues. It's pretty clear that I am one of their major customers because they're such a small shop. They maybe have me and one other guy who really pick up a lot of books every week, I think. Or at least a lot of the people on their pull list are just picking up a few books a month. Oh yeah, there's the Lobo that I'm in the middle of reading. You know, Kelly Jones is one of my favorite DC artists, and you don't see him that often anymore, so just having that. And I feel like, I don't know if I've seen Kelly Jones do science fiction before, but I feel like he's doing a little bit of a Kelly Jones version of Wally Wood at times. So that's really cool. And we're about, in the part I'm reading, we're about to go into outer space. So even though I hate Lobo, I kind of enjoy the way he's drawing Lobo. So that's been a really cool read. Probably my favorite read of the month, as it was last month, is Shaolin Cowboy, Who'll Stop the Rain. Last issue was probably my favorite of the three, but this issue was also totally amazing in its own way. And each issue has a different kind of vibe and angle, even though it's part of the same continuous story. I mean, the last panel of the last issue picks up with the first panel of this issue, and the same with the previous one. And I think there's one more issue. And it's just exquisitely good. You can see this was another one where I got stuck with the variant cover. I was tempted to buy from my shop today the other cover, but I think if I'm going to buy the other cover, I'm going to do it from some other shop that didn't stick me with this cover. But we got an amazing fight between the Shaolin Cowboy and this gigantic pig whose mother, I believe, was eaten by the Shaolin Cowboy years ago, or killed by her, I can't remember. Some of the panels in here are just amazing. You can just look at them for really long periods of time and see more and more stuff in them, like pterodactyls flying in the background, interesting signs and everything. The amount of work in terms of drawing that he's done in here is incredible. Totally get your money's worth. And it's a lot more pages than a Marvel or DC comic, and this just amazing one-of-a-kind art. Let's see, what else? Was there anything else in this little box that I read today? No. So, God Country wrapped up. I found it very satisfying. I feel like as a trade, this will make a good fantasy short story, basically. It's not a novel, it's a short story with the kind of, more subtle, sentimental tones that a short story can pull off that would be too maybe heavy-handed in a longer-term story. But I really liked it. As I've said every time, I love the art and the amazing colors in here by colorist Jason Wordy, with help from D. Cuniff. Anyway, if you like fantasy, this is definitely something to grab and trade. Black Hammer, this issue knocked me out. I was really happy to see Dean Ormston back. This issue was full of great beats, and I think it was the issue previous to this issue where we got, a really exciting, mysterious twist, and we get a similar but different exciting mysterious twist at the end of this issue. I don't want to give anything away. We get some cool flashbacks to different times. We get some romance that goes wrong. So anyway, just hitting it out the park. Black Hammer still, in the top lists for me. Superman issue, oversized issue 25. Still written by Tomasi and Gleason, who've done some great work, but this whole Black Dawn series that is what they've been doing after Reborn has been just kind of a mess. And you would think with a 6-part series they would have gotten it better, but it feels very much like a helter-skelter rough draft with different aspects thrown out but not fully developed or fully explained, even though they had whole issues to fill it in. And it does, because it's kind of this mishmash of stuff, there are some pieces in here that are really good and stuff I would really like followed up on. And we're now going to end up with, although Superman's family is leaving the city Hamilton, we now know the city Hamilton is secretly inhabited by a bunch of superpowered aliens. So that would be a great place to set a story. But they're leaving. Maybe they'll come back. I'm sure Tomasi is thinking he has that in his back pocket if he ever needs another story idea. So, you know, before Reborn, all of these stories taking place in Hamilton were just so great. So I'm really sad to be leaving Hamilton, even though it's been that this last story arc's been kind of crap. And they've been having both their artists, Gleason and Mankey, work on it. I like both their work, but I don't like it mixed up together. Keep it separate in separate issues. So I'm tempted to drop this because I just have too many comics on my pull list, but I also want to see if Tomasi and Gleason can get back their mojo. I've got to look maybe ahead and see how far away this the next tie-in to what the Watchmen overplot is, because that will probably ruin it again. Royal City, full of good stuff. Oh, this one got bent too. Full of good stuff. Some of the art I really liked on some silent pages, silent panels. Like this was a real standout to me. But the earlier issues felt like each issue was kind of a chapter. This issue felt like more part of a chapter, and it raises up the thought in my head that maybe at some point I should switch to trades. That this is, you know, maybe when he first starts writing it, he's thinking about the individual issues, but now his thoughts are moving ahead to how he's going to make it all work as a trade and a series of trades, a novel written in a bunch of volumes. Still really good stuff, but should I get it in trade or should I keep getting it in singles to support the creator? Old Guard wrapped up. I was really enjoying this as just pulp adventure, and then I think I said with the last issue it felt a little deeper than that. This issue seemed to be a mix. There were some moments where it felt like it was going to go deeper, and then it sort of fell back into just pure pulp. And we had revelations about our main character. Is her name Andy or Nikki? I think Nikki. But then things became too easy in a way. Like Nikki and the other characters needed a reason to care about life. And it seemed like that would be thematically what's going on here. We've lived so long. Nikki, it turns out, has lived for 7,000 years. But it's not very convincing. After building up to it, I didn't feel like we got a convincing reason, except for just sort of revenge against people who've done you wrong in a way. And I guess saving your friends, but it wasn't played out in a way where I really felt that. You know, maybe the reason to live is your community, shall we say. But it wasn't very strong there. The two gay lovers who are immortal, they have a reason to live. Their love for each other is strong, and maybe going through these ordeals makes their love stronger. And the art has been sketchy all along in this, but it seemed even looser in this issue. And so the big set piece of them rescuing their friends from a giant high-rise in Dubai didn't have as much impact as it should have, and there wasn't really much clever in it. There's typical movie scenes like the heroes swinging through windows while shooting at all the bad guys at the same time, and just a lot of shooting. I thought there would be more clever twists in the way they, even in the pulp violence way that they resolved the story in the end, and it felt kind of lazy on the part of Rucka a little bit. So overall, I'd say it's still some cool art in here, and overall I'd say it's a fun series. If you wanted some light entertainment in a trade, you could do a lot worse than picking up Old Guard, but on the other hand, you're not missing anything, I think, if you give a pass to it in trades or in the dollar boxes or whatever, if you haven't already been reading it. But I don't regret reading it. I had a good time. Whether at first they just said this was just a mini, but now they're saying it's the end of part of book 1. It says Old Guard will return at the end. So whether I want to return with it or not could really depend on how much other stuff I have to read. But at the moment, I'm thinking maybe one volume of it is enough for me. Something I picked up after the fact, I really liked this cover. Howard Chaykin is really dicey for me, and I heard some bad things about this. I heard a few good things about it, and for whatever reason, a few weeks ago, I didn't have as many comics as I wanted. I picked it up, and it turned out I really liked it. Why I liked it, I don't know. And there was some cringe-worthy stuff in here, and I don't really know why a large part of this is devoted to different serial killers and criminals, people who've been arrested for murder, basically, of different sorts, a lot of them serial killers. I don't know how all that ties in. I almost don't want it to tie in. I almost want this book to remain kind of a collage of really bad things about the United States. Not that I think the United States is that bad, but it's just fun in its kooky screwed upness. It was been maybe a week or more. There's the scene of with the transsexual, that's disturbing. But the one that I was most disturbed by was the black male sniper who goes out and shoots a lot of white people because they're white. And this seems to be a white fear, and it wouldn't be very surprising if, certain black people in America would do that. But I don't think it actually does happen, so it's almost like perpetuating a fear, a myth of something that's not really a problem. But other than that, and I don't know, I haven't researched, maybe there have been racially motivated mass murdering snipers, but all the ones I can recall are either just kind of random or at a gay disco or whatever. I don't think white people have been the victim, but white people, we have the urge to portray ourselves as the victims. Everyone wants to be the victim, I suppose. But I didn't really mean to go down that rabbit hole. It's a very daring, kooky, in-your-face kind of comic. It definitely melds the underground and the mainstream of comics because it's quite slick. So I'm going to try to get more issues of it. I don't know how long it's supposed to go on for. I don't know how long I would be able to take it. I kind of worry it'll try to develop more of a plot, and I almost like it as this plotless hodgepodge. Okay, so that was me throwing out a lot of comic book thoughts at once. If you stuck with me, thank you very much. If you didn't, you're not hearing this, but thank you for watching the beginning part of the video. I will probably be back soon. Really been enjoying making videos lately, or spewing out my thoughts anyway. And leaving lots of comments on other people's videos when I get a chance to watch them. I'm kind of a commentaholic. I love to type. And so if I'm in front of a keyboard when I watch a video, I usually leave a comment if something about the video interested me. So I will talk to you all later. Bye bye.